Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is Denise. You are watching Speak Now Pro Wrestling. Today, we are chatting NXT 2.0. It is May 10th, and we got a pretty interesting episode of NXT to talk about here today. It wasn't a bad episode. We got some good stuff. We got a pretty, I thought we got a main event that actually over-delivered, I would say. I thought that Natty versus Cora Jade was a lot better than I expected. We kicked off the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. We got to see some new faces and also some familiar faces. So we got a lot to get into here today. But first and foremost, thank you everybody for tuning into the show. As always, let me, oh, is this my chair? I look so short today. Am I shorter? Did I shrink? Or is it there we go. It's my chair. I was like, I look so tiny. What's happening here? Anyways, but let's get some thoughts in here, guys. Let's start talking about NXT, and then we'll go ahead and run through things in a nice chronological format. Take part in the chat. You guys all know the drill. I'm going to pull out some of your guys' thoughts because we're getting some pretty interesting opinions in here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of those up, and then we'll get right into the show. And let's kick things off with a comment here from Adam Bull, who says, I thought this show was loads of fun. 3.5 out of 5. This woman was based around women's wrestling. Oh, this show was based around women's wrestling. And to me, that is so cool. I have never seen a show where the women were featured more than the men. Good for WWE, says Adam Bull. They had a lot of women's wrestling here today. So I definitely have to agree with that. I think like maybe definitely more than half of the show was definitely women's stuff, which was great. Obviously, you have the breakout tournament, so you're going to be having a lot of those matches there too. But they kicked off the show with a women's feud, and then they also ended the show with a women's feud as well. So there definitely was a lot of that here today. Pile Driver Finisher says the matches were not bad, and the story progression was some backstage moments. Legado and Tony D. Yep, we got some good backstage stuff as well. Let's see what else we got here. We got people putting over the backstage segment. Tony here saying it's the best NXT episode ever. You know, I don't know. I don't know because I'm trying to remember if there was an episode of NXT where I came out here and I said it was the best episode of NXT ever. Like, not ever. We're talking like NXT 2.0 era, guys. Like NXT 2.0 era. And I don't recall an episode where I came out and said, oh, this is the best NXT 2.0 episode ever. But there have been some pretty decent ones out there. And this show, I wouldn't say was like the best. It was just not bad. So that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. Like top to bottom, I didn't find myself like disconnected from things. And even some of the characters that don't always work for me every week, some of them worked for me this week. And I'll talk about those in just a second. So I don't know if I would say it was the best NXT 2.0 episode ever, but it was definitely a strong one for sure. Here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into this, guys, because we kicked off the show here today with a tag team action between Roxanne Perez and Wendy Choo against Gigi Dolan and Gacy Jane for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Now, going into this, I thought, you know, how cool would it be if like Roxanne Perez and Wendy Choo became champions here tonight? But then I thought, no, because Roxanne Perez is in part of the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, and she's my pick right now in terms of who I actually think is going to win the Breakout Tournament. So I thought, I don't think they're going to have them win the tag team titles, literally based off the fact that if they do have Roxanne Perez win, I think it would be a little bit weird to have her in this tournament as a champion when it's supposed to be a breakout tournament. Like, you probably wouldn't have somebody that's already holding gold in a tournament that is for breakout, female wrestlers. So in that sense, I thought, well, this is going to be, I thought it was kind of an interesting, not an interesting, but I thought it was a dead giveaway that it would definitely be Gacy Jane and Gigi Dolan essentially retaining the gold, and they did. And they did it in a way where, they had Mandy Rose come in. Mandy Rose gets involved during the latter portion of this match. And so this ends up causing both women, both Gigi and Gacy, to end up attacking, they ended up attacking Wendy Choo. They double teamed Wendy Choo, and that's how they were able to get the win here. So they protected, Roxanne Perez in this, and, she's still going into the tournament and all of that. But I do want to kind of put over a couple of things from this match. And one of them is, because the Wendy Choo character is like so funny and it's so ditzy and this and that, and the girl's coming out in her pajamas, I feel like sometimes we forget that she's actually a good wrestler, and you forget about it because when she's out there and she's, squirting water guns and playing pranks, and, she's got her cute little nightie and all of this little stuff that she does in her theme song. Her theme song sounds like those little games that toddlers play on their iPads. So you forget that Wendy Choo can actually go in the ring. So during this match, when I was seeing her in there, I'm like, damn, I completely forgot that Wendy Choo is actually good. You forget it because of the character, but every time she goes in there, she finds a way to balance the character and also, implement some good in-ring work and whatnot. On top of that, Roxanne Perez, I thought she excelled in this match in the sense that she went out there and she just brought like so much energy. Girl had her batteries on. She was fiery. She just made things more exciting. I loved the double clothesline that she did to Toxic Attraction on the outside. That was really good. But in the end, we do see them lose, and we do see Toxic Attraction retain their tag team gold. Fine, cool, whatever. After the match, though, we see Toxic Attraction essentially attack Wendy Choo. Roxanne Perez is taken out, so they all 3-on-1 to Wendy Choo. And so with this, there was one line from Mandy Rose where she said, quote, "You will never look like me. You're just a loser." And that's the one thing where I'm like, what exactly is Mandy Rose's gimmick though? Like, she's like supposed to be the hot girl, right? She's the hot girl. We get it. She's the hot girl. She's badass and this and that. I love everything that they've done with Mandy Rose so far, but I don't like when she has to say things like, "Oh, you will never look like me. You're just a loser," because it kind of like makes her seem like because it kind of takes away from some of the work that she has done when you only think that people that are like at your level of hotness, that they can and cannot defeat you. So I didn't like that line, but I thought, whatever, I guess that's what they're going with for this Mandy Rose stuff. We've seen her say stuff like this before. I'm not a big fan of her. I get that. I'm not a big fan of that. I like when Mandy Rose comes out and she flaunts, saying how great she is and how beautiful she is. But I think when you're telling your competitor, like, "Oh, you're not as good looking as I am," that was what I was like, oh, was it really needed? Poor Wendy Choo. But with that being said, I thought this was a pretty good opening for the show. It was perfectly fine. Good stuff there. Let's go ahead and see what people are saying in regards to this. Let's get some thoughts here. This is from King of Waco Mundo, who says, "I still don't think that Toxic Attraction should have the belts. They're not that good. I think that they should have them wrestle more. I feel like we don't get to see them wrestle enough. Like the first period of them holding the belts, I feel like we were only really seeing them wrestle sporadically. I would like to see them wrestle a little bit more. I don't think that they're bad. We just don't get to see them that often. I don't think that I think that we should be seeing them a little bit more. I think they've spent too much time just doing the whole, like, they're hanging out at the, I forget what they call their lounge, but they have a lounge, right? That lounge that they usually have. I forget what they call it. But when they do that, they kind of spend a lot of time there. Justin Martin sends in a comment saying Roxanne and Wendy didn't really need the belts, but Roxanne losing again this soon just doesn't look good for her. If they have her win the tournament, it'll be fine. I don't think that it will be bad, honestly. And all right, let's go ahead and continue on from here, guys. Let's get into this quick backstage segment, or rather a vignette that we got from Tiffany Stratton and Grayson Waller, who would team up later on in the show. And so I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but a couple weeks ago or a couple shows ago, I was on here talking about Tiffany Stratton's character, and I was saying, like, given the fact that she's supposed to be daddy's little rich girl, she should be out there acting, and I said she should be acting more like a Hillary Banks from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? And we all know, for those of you guys who are fans of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you all know that Hillary Banks is known for being like airheady, and she loves daddy's money, and all she loves to do is shop. It's the 101, gimmick for like a ditzy girl that's rich, right? So I was like, you need to do more with Tiffany Stratton's character. Give her more of that, like, I don't know how else to explain it, more of that Hillary Banks vibe. And so I started, when they started doing the shopping segment, because they had done a couple like in the past, but then they didn't really kind of touch up on those anymore. So they did another one here today, and she had a little bit more lines when she was engaging with Grayson Waller. And I like this. I think they need to keep doing stuff like this more for her, not to only get comfortable, but for us to get used to see more of the character itself. So I like this. I hope they keep doing a few of these for her character. I've been a big fan of, or at least I've been a fan of these backstage segments that they do. I like this stuff, guys. It's fun. If they're doing very like character heavy, they have some characters that are very, very like specific. So like, why not go ahead and do stuff like this, So I think this is definitely working here. And thank you to Mamed, who reminds me that it's called the Toxic Lounge. I couldn't remember. I'm like, what the hell is it? The Toxic Lounge? What is it? All right. And Durant says, where has Io been? Please, I hope she doesn't show up with a new name too. She hasn't been on God in a bit, actually. We haven't seen her in a bit. She's not injured, is she? I don't remember. Thank you. Mamed says she's injured. I don't remember what, though, on the details for that. So if somebody wants to freshen up my memory, go ahead and remind me on that one there. But let's get into, we got a couple more stuff to talk about. So let's get into Diamond Mine. So we all know that they've been teasing this breakup between Roderick Strong and the Creed brothers because they're not seeing eye to eye. The Creed brothers are going more babyface now, where they want to win matches and they want to win them the right and honorable way. But Roderick Strong essentially helped them win a match last week against the Viking Raiders, but he did so by interfering, and the Creed brothers did not like that. So the Creed brothers are basically telling him once again here today, like, dude, why the hell did you get involved, etc., etc. And Roderick Strong's like, you guys are still like worked up about that? Like, it's no big deal. You guys got the win, but they're not seeing eye to eye. So they are still teasing the dissension here of the Diamond Mine, at least between the Creed brothers and Roderick Strong. But then we ended up getting a new member of Diamond Mine, and it's Bobby Stevenson, who's the brother of Gable Stevenson, but they changed his name and he's going by Damon Kemp. So he's Damon Kemp, but just know it's Bobby Stevenson, the brother of Gable Stevenson, and he is now the new member of Diamond Mine. Now, I'm guessing they're going to probably put him in a tag team with Roderick Strong, because at the end of the day, I don't think that the Creed brothers are going to stay in the Diamond Mine much longer. So I'm expecting them to split up, and we're probably going to be seeing Roderick Strong and Damon Kemp team up together to go up against the Creed brothers once, because next week they're going to be wrestling the Viking Raiders. So probably after that, I'm expecting to see Roderick Strong and Damon Kemp essentially go out and do their thing. So my prediction for next week is that somehow, some way, we're going to end up seeing Roderick Strong cost the match for the Creed brothers, and that's going to piss them off, and that's going to be the eventual fallout. At least that's what I'm expecting there. So also, just to give a little background here on Bobby Stevenson, for those of you who may not know much about him, I hardly know much about him, but I pulled this up from F4W, and just to give you guys a little bit of information on Bobby. So I'm going to read this verbatim. Bobby was an amateur wrestler at the University of Minnesota. He was hired. He joined the Performance Center this August. His brother, obviously, Gable Stevenson, we already know that. And he wrestled at the University of Minnesota, the same alma mater as Gable Stevenson, and that's it. This is pretty much all about his brother. So hopefully he's going to be able to step out and have his own spotlight. If not, he's just going to be in the shadows of his brother. But that's kind of just a little bit of information on Bobby Stevenson. All right, let's get some thoughts in here, guys. Let's get some interest. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Sheldon. He reminds me that EO had a leg injury. I completely forgot. Man, and that was a couple months ago, wasn't it? No, a couple weeks ago, too. Short-term memory here. And this is another comment from Justin who says, this is unless Rocky convinces them to give him his release before that happens. Oh, no. That's true. Roderick Strong does not want to be there. For a second, I thought maybe they are going to give him his release. Maybe they're going to have the Diamond Mine break up, and then they're just going to have Roderick Strong, like, quietly disappear. I don't know. At first, I thought that's what they were going to do, just, like, given, like, the story, the report came out, right? And then shortly thereafter, the next episode of NXT, we see that they're going to break up the Diamond Mine. So I'm thinking like, oh, are they maybe going to perhaps grant him his release, but maybe they're going to at least work it into the story where we actually see him casually just disappear, be gone? I don't know. Well, we'll see. Zeno Hour says, WWE not acknowledging Damon Kemp and Gable Steveson as brothers is so bizarre and nonsensical. I think because you would to make him feel like a bigger deal, right? Like, let's say Roderick Strong would have been like, you know what? The new member of the Diamond Mine is, the brother of Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Steveson, so I don't know, something like that. But again, I'm guessing they don't want him in the shadows of his brother, but you guys know how it is. And recently, it has been put out there that Vince doesn't want people with their real names out there, in the company, but special people are allowed to keep their names. So it pretty much depends, I think, on your star power and if you've made a name for yourself outside of wrestling. If it looks to me like if you've made a name for yourself outside of wrestling, then you are able to keep your name going into WWE. But then again, this really depends on the mood of Vince McMahon and what he's feeling during that period in time. So yeah. So I'm not too surprised that we actually didn't get him with his name Damon Kemp. And I think that had already been out there like a couple months prior that his name was going to be Damon Kemp and all of that, because he's been promoting it and all of that. Yeah. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. Also, after this next portion of the show was honestly probably the least interesting. And this is Joe Gacy's promo, guys. For me, you guys know, especially if you've been coming into these shows every week, you know how I feel about this Joe Gacy Bron Breakker storyline. It's my least favorite thing. It has not been good. And I'm not going to go on a rant about that like I did last week. But today, I just want to say that I tweeted this out because this is legitimately how I felt. When you're reading a book and you read the same sentence over and over again and you just can't register what it's telling you. You can't register the meaning of it all. That's exactly how I felt today listening to Joe Gacy's promo. I was watching, I was listening, but I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't soaking in the words. I wasn't soaking in the meaning. And I got bored. And then suddenly I was just listening to what the fans were saying. And the fans were like, I think there was a couple of chants in the beginning that there was like a group of people chanting, "We want wrestling." And they kind of faded out quickly, and you only really heard them if you were really paying attention, like closely. There was obviously people chanting, "Shut the hell up," etc., that sort of thing to feed into his heel persona. That's fine, but it got to the point where I'm like, at the end, I listened to the whole thing, and then I thought, oh my God, what did he say? So I had to rewind. And then I spaced out again. And then I rewinded again. But anyways, this was it was not sticking to me, guys. It was the cheap tape. It was not sticking to me whatsoever. Basically, he's going on and on about how hardship is awaiting those who resist him. So if you resist him, expect hardship. There you go. I summarized it in one sentence. This is bad. This is not good. They need to find a way for it to hit the mark just a little bit more. So unfortunately, the Joe Gacy, Bron Breakker stuff just is not working for me. But let's see what you, the people, are saying. We got a very generous superstar from Superstar. Yeah, we got a very generous super chat from Jade Kane. Thank you so much to Jade, who says, loved NXT. More importantly is the impact you are having on young women of color. I found out my daughter has leukemia. She didn't get down because your videos inspire her. She fights because of you. Jay, I appreciate this comment, and I'm actually really heartbroken to read it, but thank you so much, though, for letting me know this, and I send your daughter a lot of love, and I'm really sorry that she has to go through this. But this is very, very sweet of you, though, and I'm sending you and your daughter and your family nothing but positive vibes. Thank you, Jay Kane, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to transition from this, but thank you so much for the super chat. And again, I appreciate your support, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. Truly, I am. So I'm gonna segue into this now. Sorry, guys. I'm really bad at segueing from like stuff that are serious and then back into the world of professional wrestling. So let's go ahead and segue in back into the world of professional wrestling, because that's what I am, a wrestling YouTuber. I don't know why I find that funny. Sorry. I forgot who I think I was telling somebody. I was saying something and I just kept going, well, I'm a wrestling YouTuber. I don't know. I find it funny. Anyways, but so Joe Gacy, Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker was not on today's show. He will be here next week. They already promoted it. He's going to be essentially coming out and having this confrontation with Joe Gacy. So this, my friends, continues. Yay, hooray. All right, guys, let's go ahead and continue from here on out. I'm thinking that somebody over at NXT was inspired by my boot camp tweets, because Ivy Nile is now doing like these boot camp segments where she's there and she's literally kicking the ass of like all these guys, and she's doing the workouts, right? She's the instructor and the guys are not able to keep up with her. She's doing push-ups and she's like, I will be the last person here doing the push-ups. She's doing lunges with weights on the backs, and the guys are like all gassed out. They're looking like Denise Salcedo at the gym. It's good stuff. I like this. I like these little Ivy Nile challenges. God, I would never actually do them myself, but Jesus, they are pretty entertaining. I kind of hope they have them do some like really crazy stuff. I'd be into that. I honestly would be into that. I really, really would. Alrighty. And then from here on out, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament and what we got here. So let me pull up, actually, I'll pull up the bracket afterwards because I only have the updated bracket. All right. Breakout Tournament. Fallon Henley versus Sloane Jacobs. I think this one was very, very predictable. Sloane Jacobs, she's a 19-year-old girl. She's just getting her start here. She hasn't been featured much. This is really her breakout tournament moment. So we don't really know much about her other than she looks like Madeline Pesh from Riverdale. She has a great look. Love the red hair. They could do something really good there with Sloane. I think they could spice up her look a little bit more. I don't know. I'm looking at Sloane Jacobs, and I would actually do something a little edgy with her. I kind of want to see like a Rhea Ripley. Like, you guys remember when Rhea Ripley like first started and she kind of looked like a Charlotte Flair? And then, as her evolution went by, now she's like Rhea Ripley. She's had this transformation where she's unique. I was thinking about this when I was looking at Sloane Jacobs, and I was like, I could see like that happening to Sloane Jacobs, where she's kind of starts off looking at like this, because she kind of looks wholesome, like this wholesome redheaded girl. I feel like they could, edge her up a little bit. She's got this fiery red hair. I feel like if they do something a little edgy with her, I think it could really give her a little something. So that's what I was thinking about when I was looking at Sloane. But we knew Fallon Henley was going to win. She's been featured more. She's a little bit more advanced. She came in here a little bit more aggressive. She gets the win and she advances in the tournament. So it was very, very crystal clear. Now I'm going to go ahead and hop into the next NXT Breakouts tournament match that we saw. The other one that we saw was Nikita Lyons versus Ariana Grace. I think here, this was another very predictable one. Same situation. Nikita Lyons is somebody that has been featured a lot on NXT. In fact, you can consider her a fan favorite. And it was very clear that she was going to win. Now, with Ariana Grace, she's the daughter of Santino Marella. Unfortunately, this was all Nikita, guys. Nikita did everything here. I do think Ariana needs a lot more work. I feel like she wasn't. I feel like I didn't even feel she was ready for this match, to be honest. Like, she's super, super green. And I get it. That's the point of NXT 2.0. But I think she came in here a little bit more green than I was expecting, to be honest. I think she could have. This was interesting. She was super, super green. I think based on what we saw from her today, she's going to need a lot more work to get to a certain level, because this was all Nikita. All Nikita. Nikita ended up getting the win, as expected, and we now have the updated brackets here for this tournament. So on the left side, you guys see Nikita Lyons advances, Fallon Henley advances. Between these two women, I'm expecting Nikita Lyons to get the win. You know what? I feel like they could, I'm going to go with Nikita Lyons just because I feel like they're putting a lot of eggs into her basket. So I feel like Nikita would definitely be the one here. On the right side, I definitely think it has to be Roxanne defeating Kiana James. And then as for Lash Legend and Tatum Paxley, I am thinking it's going to be Tatum Paxley. And I think it's going to be Roxanne and Tatum Paxley in the semifinals. And then for the actual finals, I'm expecting Nikita Lyons versus Roxanne Perez, with Roxanne Perez winning the entire thing. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now based off of what we're seeing. So based off what we're seeing so far, the tournament feels pretty predictable for sure. Pretty predictable. And all right, so let's get some thoughts in here, guys. Let's see what people are saying in regards to this here. Mac Hensley says, I'm 19 too, and I can't imagine being on NXT TV at this age. Props to her for making it to TV so young. Yeah, for Sloan, dude, for reals, 19 years old. And same, Roxanne Perez is only, I keep forgetting how old she is, but she's super young too. I think she's like 20, 21. She's 20, so she's super young as well. Dude, she was born in 2001. In 2001, Jesus Christ. In 2001, I was already dancing like Britney Spears in my living room. I was like rocking out to the Backstreet Boys in 2001. I think that was 2001 was probably like I had already been watching wrestling for maybe a year or two by then. So like, oof. And she was just born. My God. All right. Let's go ahead and get some thoughts in here too. Momen says, unfortunately, rough start for Ariana. Bobby C predicts Lash and Roxanne in the finals. Nikita versus Roxanne. And this is from M. Durrett, who says the size difference between Nikita and Roxy is major. Would be an interesting matchup. Yeah, that is true. They have a size difference for sure. They really do, actually. And this is from DF and Ray 369, who says, I feel like it's going to end up being between Nikita and Lash. I hope not, because we've seen it, been there, done that. If they do end up going that direction, I think it would be a mistake. Like, they would have Nikita win, which is fine, right? But I don't think this tournament should be for the end result to be for Nikita to win this. I legitimately think if they want to make a new star, it has to be Roxanne Perez. Like, Nikita Lyons is getting over. She's been getting over with the people. And so has Roxanne for the most part. But I just feel like if you really want to establish somebody, it should be Roxanne Perez. As much as I like Nikita, I do think it should be Roxanne Perez. And I just don't think that Nikita Lyons and Lash Legend will be the final match that you want to see, because we've already seen it. So, like, that's for me, like, that's why I feel like it may not be those two girls. But I did see a couple people on Twitter thinking that that's the direction that they're going to go in. So, hopefully they don't. We got Mohamed saying the same thing about Lash and Lyons being a huge mistake. Yeah, it would just kind of, to me, it would, it's just not the match that I would want to see for the finale of this tournament, but we'll see. We will see. All right. And this is also another comment from M. Durant who says Nikita's already over, so I think they will put somebody else over. And this is from Bobby who says Roxanne is the best all-around woman in this tournament right now. She definitely is. And Tony says Lyons and Perez is what I truly want to see. Agreed. I definitely agree with that as well. All righty. And now let's go ahead and get into all of the drama. Let's get into the drama between Legado del Fantasma and Tony D'Angelo and his dudes, because it is becoming a little mini telenovela on NXT 2.0. That is exactly what we're getting. We are getting a soap opera. We have kidnappings. We have betrayal. We have lies. We have deceit. We have dinners gone bad. We have interesting phone calls. I mean, pretty soon somebody's going to get pregnant and it's going to be like, you're going to think it's the baby father, then it ain't going to be the baby father, then it's going to be the brother, and it's going to be so much drama, right? That's a telenovela for you. But anyways, no, for reals. I honestly have been enjoying this a whole lot. And I think today was probably the day that I've been enjoying it the most, because believe it or not, they've actually been consistent with this. And they started it off very clearly. We knew what they were going to go in. We knew the direction that they were going to go in with all of this. And then they kept doing it every week. And so they had the dinner last week, and the dinner, they were kind of, feeling each other out to see where they were at, who was gonna, bend over for the other person. And that sounds really wrong, but you guys get what I'm trying to say here. And so then we essentially had Legado del Fantasma kidnap. I always forget that guy's name, but they always kidnap that one guy that we've seen like twice, and I'm supposed to remember his name after 2 times. But him. So they kidnap him in a parking lot. It wasn't the NXT parking lot. It was another parking lot. But then here today, we have more kidnappings. We end up seeing, so first of all, Legado del Fantasma is interviewed by Mackenzie Mitchell, and I was dying because they literally kidnapped a man last week, and they had Mackenzie Mitchell's question be something about the peace agreement and how come that didn't end up working out. I'm like, they kidnapped a man and you're asking about the peace agreement? This killed me. This literally killed me. It was hilarious. I'm like, is anybody else here concerned that a man was kidnapped? Okay, whatever. Well, you know what happens when you kidnap somebody? When somebody kidnaps somebody that is your friend, you know what you do? You kidnap the other friend. That's what I learned today. That was the moral that I took away from NXT. Somebody kidnaps my friend, I then in turn kidnap their friend. That is the moral that I learned today on NXT 2.0. But anyway, so we get Cruz del Toro, who ends up being kidnapped by Tony D'Angelo and his guys. They beat him up in the parking lot. The Legado del Fantasma finds them. Santos Escobar calls Tony D'Angelo, and they end up having this conversation. Basically, who's going to... they both have one of their men. They each have one of their men. So they're both on the phone kind of saying like, well, who's going to treat their guy worse? Well, let's settle this in the ring. Next week, it's going to be Santos Escobar versus Tony D'Angelo. And you know what would have been funnier? Would have been kind of crazy, but the winner gets to release the guy that is kidnapped. Now, that's not the real stipulation. I'm just making that up. But let's be real. At this point, they might as well do that. Whoever wins gets to release the person that was kidnapped. And the person who loses remains their partner, their friend remains kidnapped, unfortunately. I don't know how to say it, guys. I'm not making this up. But either way, I got to tell you, you know what? We're all suckers for soap operas. We're all suckers for telenovelas. So I'm a sucker for this. I've been enjoying this. I like the chemistry between Santos Escobar and Tony D'Angelo because it's believable. I like it. It's fun. Sue me. Tony says NXT 2.0 Telemundo edition. Definitely is the Telemundo edition for sure. Christopher pointing out that the parking lot at NXT is unsafe. It seriously is. I've lost track of how many people have been kidnapped in that NXT parking lot. We've seen just about everything in that parking lot. How we saw the Creed brothers get attacked. We saw girlfriends being stolen, weapons being used. We've seen kidnappings. Trying to remember what else we've seen, but we've seen a lot down there. We've seen a lot happen there. Let's see what else we got here. YT says kidnapping leads to revenge kidnapping, which is totally, completely normal. DF and Ray says it's like Lucha Underground angle. I love it. Pile Driver Finisher says they're a Narcos fan. I'm a fan of Narcos too, actually. But I only liked, now everybody tells me that I should not have given up, but I think I watched the first 2 seasons, or I definitely watched the whole first season. The second season, I didn't finish it because to be honest, I could not watch it without Pablo Escobar. I loved the character of Pablo Escobar on Narcos. I was a fan of it. And so it was kind of hard for me to get into the new characters in season 2, so I kind of gave up. But everybody tells me that I should not have given up because Narcos Mexico is actually really good, is what I've heard, but I gave up. So, and now I feel like it's too late for me to come back. But season 1 of Narcos, which I did watch, I bloody loved. I bloody loved season 1 of Narcos. All right. I learned a bunch of bad words too. Yeah, that's a good thing. Learn a bunch of bad words. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on from here. Let's see. After this, we got Alba Fyre, who officially makes her debut as Alba Fyre. I mean, not her like real debut because she's Kaylee Ray, as you guys know, but her Alba Fyre debut. So she comes out and she's giving me major Katniss Everdeen vibes with the fire and the flames and all of this good stuff. Now, for those of you who do not know, back in the day when the Hunger Games was a thing, I was those massive, diehard Hunger Games fans. I'm not kidding you. I would dress up like Katniss Everdeen. I was madly in love with Peeta. I read all the books, and I have never, and I mean ever, camped out at a movie theater to watch anything in my life other than the Hunger Games. I camped out to watch the Hunger Games. So anything to me that is remotely Hunger Games related, even though it's probably not, she's literally just a girl on fire, I don't care. I'm going to take it as that. So I'm going to like it. I love this Alba Fyre thing. Sue me, guys. I like it. And I hope they do more stuff with it. More like cool stuff. Like I want them to present her as like a badass, you know, like this girl is going to come out here. You know, she's, you know, put out Alicia Keys, this girl is on fire song, and blast her out there. I'm looking forward to what they do with Alba Fyre. I mean, I already liked her as Kaylee Ray, but whatever. Alba Fyre it is. I'm rolling with the punches, everybody. And good stuff during this match. Very simple. She wrestled Amari Miller. We've seen Amari Miller a couple of times now in NXT 2.0. I loved the headbutt from Alba Fyre. Thought that was great. Nice finish at the end. She gets the win. Alba Fyre wins. Hooray, hoorah. Nothing else to add there, guys. And Dolly Lomo says, the Alba Fyre name sounds like she belongs in the Justice League. Yeah, she definitely sounds more of like a superhero type, honestly. Mike New York says Jennifer Lawrence, one of my favorite actresses. Shout out to Jennifer Lawrence. I love that girl. I had a big obsession with Jennifer Lawrence back in the day. It's still kind of there too, actually. I watch all her movies. Like, I don't care what movie she's in, I will watch it. I haven't seen all of her movies, but I will watch it if she's in it. If Jennifer Lawrence is in a movie, I will watch it. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Dan Pereira says, I love her new finisher. The way she applies the swanton is so fine. And she kind of does it, like, she doesn't do it like Jeff Hardy. She does it, like, in a very, I don't know how to explain it. It's a different swanton. Like, it's different. I liked it. I really did like it. I thought she did good. It was impressive. And we got Tony saying that she's a female version of Damian Priest, pre-heel. Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on from here. You have an attack. Solo Sikoa comes out. He does a bunch of talking. Cameron Grimes gets out there. He ends up taken out by Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. I wasn't really feeling this one, but Solo Sikoa helps him out. This is going to lead to a tag team match. Next week, we're going to get Solo Sikoa, Cameron Grimes against Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. That's fine. I just wasn't really too keen. It wasn't something that I was like, oh my God, can't wait to talk about this. Nah. Simple. Set up a tag team match between them. All right, cool. Wesley, once again, he wants another shot at Zion Quinn. I wonder what are they doing? I have a feeling they're giving Wesley a tropical character. So if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, immediately after the breakup of MSK and the big drama and all of that, they had Wesley walking on the beach, reflecting. He cut a promo. It was a pretty good one, actually. But then today, he has the shirt and then he just has the little palm tree. So I have a feeling they're going to do like a tropical character for him based on the beach, based on the palm tree shirt. We haven't been given much information of the new direction, which they're going to go in with Wesley. But he's going to go into this match again with Zion Quinn. Zion Quinn already defeated him. So it seems like they don't really know what to do right now with Zion Quinn or Wesley, because Zion Quinn started off as like the heartthrob, where he was basically making Elektra Lopez shaking her boots. They did that whole telenovela between them, the whole steamy romance thing. And then after that, nothing came of that. And then he also did the dancing thing as well. And then nothing came of that either. The last time we saw him, I recall him squashing Wesley. So we'll see where they go from here. We will see where they go from here. Zeno Hour points out that Solo is so over. Yeah, he's over with the CWC audience, guys. He hasn't done it for me personally. But you know what? If he's over with the CWC audience, thumbs up. I'm not there yet. Hopefully I get there. It's just not today. Tony mentions Wes Cabana Lee. Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking the same thing. All right, here we go. Let's get into, after this, we finally got the match between Tiffany Stratton and Grayson Waller, mixed tag team match. They face up against Andre Chase and Sarai. I actually liked this. This was perfectly entertaining. I'm not gonna lie to you. The backstage interactions with Andre Chase and Bodie Hayward and Sarai, and then them going out there in the ring and doing the little entrance where they come out and she transforms into her gear like she always does. And then the guys, Andre Chase's shirt goes from red to blue, and then Bodie Hayward's ends up coming out with like a, I think he already had the crop top, but he comes out with the crop top, but he has the little black hairdo like Sarai. So this was really cute. I don't know what it is, but I found this somewhat endearing. I liked their interactions together, and now I want to see her part of this act, because I haven't been really, you guys know, I haven't really been into this whole Chase U University stuff. This has been like, this is not for me, right? This was the first day that I liked it. This was the first day where I thought, you know what? This is cute. Okay, it's cute. Sarai, you know what? Add her to this. I liked this. Sue me. I thought that they brought out the best, not the best in each other, but she helped bring out the best of Andre Chase, in my opinion. Then Tiffany Stratton and Grayson Waller, I liked them as a duo too. I would like it if they kind of did something together, and it doesn't have to be like a boyfriend-girlfriend type of thing. It could literally be like a friends thing. Maybe they just kind of like they were today, where they just kind of found something in common and they ended up working together. I would like it if they did something like that with Tiffany and Grayson Waller, because Grayson Waller, you know, he's been moving about. They've been doing all these different things with him on NXT 2.0. He's been getting over pretty well as a heel. I like this pairing of him and Tiffany. Maybe they could be like besties or something, like bougie besties. I'd be into that. So I kind of liked all the pairings that we had in this match. I thought Tiffany. My best friend's name is Tiffany, but I thought Tiffany looked good. She looked good in this match. She did a great job. I think she brought a lot more intensity out there, and she's definitely been improving each and every single week. I love that she did she went over the top rope and she did the splash on Bodhi Hayward to the outside. That was good. Love the color combination of her gear. She looks great out there. And Saraya ended up getting the win for her team after she rolled up Tiffany Stratton and got the quick win. So once again, odd pairings that all brought out the best in each other. And Zeno Hour says, Denise loves Chase U now. We did it, chat. Oh, no, I like them with Sarai. All right. I don't know about all of this Chase U University stuff. It's a teachable, or how does he do it? Teachable moment. What's the pose? I forget the pose. Man. All right. Everybody here is talking about how they love Chase U. Jesus. I've been out of the loop, guys. Usually the chat, I feel like for the most part, the chat always somewhat agrees with me, but there's been some stuff on NXT that I feel like we haven't seen eye to eye with, and this was probably one of them for sure, where I haven't really been feeling this whole Chase U stuff. And Dave Ed says Chase U got a foreign language department. That was funny. Where Bodhi Hayward says he's been taking Japanese 202. He's already in the next level. He ain't even a beginner. He's in 202. And then Andre Chase is like, oh, we got a foreign department or something, or a language department. And then he even gives them the name of the teacher. I forgot the name that he said. I forget the name, but whatever. It was good stuff. Sheldon Daction says Denise likes Chase U or be cursed. Man, I liked it this week. I'll probably get over it next week. I liked it this week. All right, now moving on from here. Mandy Rose backstage makes fun of Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell's alone. Mandy Rose tells her that no guy would ever leave Mandy Rose because she's Mandy Rose. And you know what? I fully believe it, all right? I fully believe it. Fully believe it. Christopher says, Denise, you should work as a Spanish teacher at Chase U. Eso sí que no. All right. Moving on from here, let's get into what is next. We talked about Nikita. All right, let's get into the next week's matches that were announced, and then we'll get into the main event. So next week, we are going to be seeing Tony D'Angelo versus Santos Escobar. That's going to be the big thing of the show. Bron Breakker is going to return to answer Joe Gacy's invitation. We're getting a rematch of Wesley versus Zion Quinn. The NXT Women's Breakout Tournament continues, so we're going to get the right side of the bracket. The Creed brothers go into a rematch against the Viking Raiders. And then Stella Sikoa teams up with Cameron Grimes to take on Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. So they got a stacked show for next week. I'm liking the lineup for next week. We have a couple rematches, but for the most part, it's a pretty stacked card. I like it. All right, and now we are moving into the main event, but before I do, everybody, tomorrow, you guys know the drill. Wednesdays, I am here to chat AEW Dynamite. Please hop into that show. It's one of my most fun shows of the week. It's personally one of my favorites because I have a ton of stuff to talk about. Something nuts always happens on that show, so it gives me a lot of stuff to say. So make sure you guys come in and hop in for that. Then on Friday, I will be here I'm sorry, I will not be here this Friday. My bad. I'm going to be flying to Houston because I'm going to be doing commentary for Mission Pro Wrestling, so I will not be here on Friday. My bad. I don't know my own schedule. I clearly have issues. So with that being said, next week, May 18th, next week's edition of I'm promoting all my shows very wrong. Sorry, I'm confusing my own birthday. Next week on Wednesday will be my birthday stream, so I invite you guys all. It's going to be a birthday party for sure. I'm going to bring balloons. Maybe I'll even bring some cake. That's going to be on May 18th. The AEW edition of next week's show will be the birthday stream. I'll promote it later because I really confused everybody right now. I confused myself. I forgot that I was even flying out this weekend. So let's go ahead and get this all going. Defin Reyes wants to know if I'm going to get tres leches. You know, I don't really like tres leches depending on who makes it. because some people make tres leches and they make it really dry. You know that a good tres leches needs to be moist. So if the tres leches is moist, then I'm in. If it's dry, I'm out. Tres leches moist, thumbs up though. Thumbs up. I'm more of a flan person though. I love flan. I think people already know this about me though. I love flan. I love flan. I want to be like Fluffy. You know how people bring him cake? I want people to start bringing me flan. It would make me very, very happy. All right. So now let's go ahead and move on. All right. So the main event, Natalya versus Cora Jade. Now, a lot of people would probably look at this and be like, that's the main event? Like, what's going on NXT 2.0, right? There's be a lot of people that are not going to tune in. They're not going to want to see this match, etc. And I get it. I get it. Honestly, I do. And I kind of went into this thinking, I'm not really that interested, but I'm going to give it a chance. And I was watching this match and I was chilling. And then little by little, they kept pulling me in and pulling me into this match. I ended up loving this main event. I thought that they did a phenomenal job. Let me rephrase this. Natty did a phenomenal job at helping Cora Jade get up to that next level, get more over with the audience. She did her job. She truly did her job getting Cora Jade over in this match because they made Cora Jade look really good in this main event. At least that's how I felt about this. And given the way that it ended, I feel pretty strongly about it. But there's a portion during this match where Cora Jade tries to apply the sharpshooter on Natalya. And I'm thinking, whoa, girl, that definitely requires a lot of guts to go out there and try to get a sharpshooter on Natalya. So that I liked that. It showed that Cora Jade had guts. I was a big fan of that. Then there was a moment where like Natty locked the legs of Cora Jade using the ring post. I loved that. There was also a moment where Cora Jade does an enziguri on Natalya, and then she follows it up by double stomping her on her back. I thought that was a nice little combo there. Like I said, they made Cora Jade feel like a bigger deal in this match. Then there's a moment where Jade finally locks in the sharpshooter on Natalya, and this got a massive reaction from the CWC audience. Like, they were feeling it. The close-ups, the way that Cora Jade was selling it. Oh, it was all good stuff. Like the facial expressions when she got the sharpshooter in, I thought was really, really good. Finally, we end up seeing Natty lock in the sharpshooter on Cora Jade. And there was a moment where I'm like, okay, they're not going to have her tap out right away, right? So she locks in the sharpshooter, and I'm thinking this is going to be over. Like, this is it. This is the end of the match. But they waited a period of time where I thought, okay, this is the point now. Like, Cora Jade, if you're going to tap, you need to tap now, because now it's gotten to the point where Natty has defeated plenty of women with the sharpshooter where they were more established than Cora Jade, and they tapped out sooner, right? So that's what I was thinking. But then they kept it going even more, and she kept holding in that sharpshooter on Cora Jade. And I thought, okay, now they're going with this a little bit further. And so finally, in the end, they never have Cora Jade tap out. They have her pass out. She passes out for a bit. This was great. This was good because, again, they made Cora Jade. They showed that she had a lot of heart. She had a lot of passion, and even though the woman was suffering in pain, she was not going to give up and tap out to the sharpshooter. So I thought they told a nice story, given the way that this started, with Cora Jade being that girl that writes in her journal and dreams of being a WWE superstar someday. And oh, if she could only have a match with Natalya, and this and that and this and that. And then her essentially earning Natalya's respect at the end, because at the end of the show, they showed Natalya hugging it out with Cora Jade and basically shaking her hands. They hug it out. It's a sweet moment. She overcame it. She won over her hero, essentially, by sticking it out and not tapping out to the sharpshooter. So I loved this main event. It did a lot for Cora Jade. And I've been saying they really need a strong female babyface on NXT. And it feels like Cora Jade is definitely the person right now. After this match, she is the biggest babyface on the NXT women's division. Seriously. True sends in a super chat saying, y'all heard it here first. Denise likes it moist. I don't like it as dry as a Popeye's biscuit. True. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I really, really do. All right. Let's go ahead and continue on from here. Did I say Cora Jade? Guys, you try hosting a 1-hour show by yourself. You'll mess up a couple words here and there. All right, and let's go ahead and continue on from here, guys. DF and Ray369 says she passed out like Stone Cold did with Brett at Mania 13. Obviously, that came into everybody's mind when that happened. Not the same levels, but, you know, a little homage, you can say, to that match. Nowhere near the same levels, but still an homage. Still an homage. And all righty, let's go ahead and see. I think we got most of everybody's thoughts here in regards to this. And this is from Justin, who says, I understand they wanted to put over Cora in defeat. They were trying a little too hard with that finish, though. That match wasn't exactly Brett versus Austin at Mania. Thank you. That's what I said. That's what I was saying. Like, I know people were bringing it up, but like, you can't compare the two, guys. You can't. It was an homage. A sweet homage, but there's no comparing the two things, guys. You just can't compare. The levels here, guys. Levels. Alrighty, everybody. There you go. That was NXT 2.0 here today, the May 10th edition. Thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning in to the show. I will see you back here tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. Until next time, I'm Denise Salcedo, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and or on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo, and also make sure you guys subscribe to F4W Online over on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Bye, everyone.